Uh,
Hold on, I'll be right back. It's cool. All right, you good?
I'm good, bro. I think it's
All right,
wrong.
come. All right,
Oh,
Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to all you Akim out there. Hey, and as well as they elders, and peace and blessings to all you Akim out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as all you believers out there who believe in on the gospel. And a couple of brothers from the Great Millstone Houston camp again, coming back with another Thursday live. And I'm the brother Korah Abad, and as always, we got the beloved elder Tazapah as well. But back with another Thursday live. Let me share my screen real quick. Here we go. Boom. Which today, we'll touch on a few things, which is not much today. Kind of like the same news that we heard last week, whether from us or the apostles or different elders or brothers. It's kind of the same things that's been on news sites this following week. Which again, if just because we don't see anything on the news, on TV or article, don't mean things are not happening. It's things that's going on secretly in the world that's forward in prophecy that the Lord ain't got just on mainstream media. So the point is to pay attention. But like I said, we'll touch on a few things here. As you see from the title, it says Thursday Live, BRICS and a dollar. Because you got BRICS nations, they go meet in a couple of days. And the main focus is the finances. What they gonna do, and everybody got plans to separate from the dollar one way or another. All right, so we'll go ahead and check that out. And also, it's been word that the Biden administration is sending out thousands of paroled immigrants. And they ain't just gonna let these people off the hook. So, and they're gonna make an excuse to track them, as we talked about last week. They're gonna need an excuse to track these people. And what's the perfect way to track parole? Mind you, look, they're not just regular immigrants, paroled immigrants. They're giving them a chance to be let free, so they ain't just gonna let these people roam around. They're gonna need something to keep an eye on them. And what's the perfect way to do it? Digital IDs, tracking cash, tracking aid, so on and so forth. And lastly, seen Apostle Tahar speak about this earlier. You got Chris Cuomo. A couple years ago when CV first came, he was all for CV, all for getting a jab, right? Drinking the juice. He was all for it. But now, years down the line, he crying, talking about how he's sorry because he's still sick from getting it. Well, look, one of the prophets told the world, don't take nothing from the so-called white man, especially the Israelites. But a lot of people took that, they drunk the juice out of fear. And as we spoke on the past, not the past couple of weeks, but we mentioned it here and there, that the people who did take that juice were in the times to where they're about to become sick. All these new diseases we hearing about, right? That's gonna be on the people who drunk that juice. And it's been, word that cancer about to increase, so on and so forth. So if you got some other Tyler Parr, hey, the floor is yours.
no, you good?
Okay, Khan. And Shalom Tala Akim Akwathu may be tuning in. How about Shimmy Awashai Brakatham? So we'll hop straight into it. And as you see, also in the news, and we spoke about this a couple times with Israel, and it's kind of like a various topics, portion of the lesson too, just to kind of throw this out there, because this was in the news as well. But Israel from northern Gaza, they've been marching all the way down south, sending dropping drones, so on and so forth, sending ground troops, and they push those Palestinians back against the wall from the border. Let me see if I can pull up a map. Let me see. Rafah, Gaza. Now let's see. So what these small hats doing, they further pushing those. Let me see what's a good one. They further pushing those Palestinians down into Egypt. And remember what Egypt said? Egypt said what? They blocking them off. Y'all ain't coming here. So for example, so this Rafah at the bottom, right? This Rafah. Now Israel started up here, way up here on the north, right? Send again drones, certain missiles here and there to bomb certain spots. And then also they sending ground troops. But look, they marched their way from the north all the way to the south. And remember, it said you had over, I think, 1 million some Palestinians on this border. Now remember, Egypt said, we ain't letting y'all in. We not letting y'all in. So if they not letting the people in and these Israelis continue to march, what that mean? GENO side, man. These people ain't gonna stop. Netanyahu not trying to stop. So this will escalate and go somewhere. And now they called a ceasefire, right? It's been said they called a ceasefire. Even Biden, he not with it. He talking about he gonna stop supplying Israel with certain weapons if they continue to march in Gaza. So as of right now, they put a halt on it and they in talk. So we'll see what come from that. But just to kind of make mention of that, look, World War III is still happening. Things gonna continue to build up, but that's gonna force America to have Israel back, which is going to lead to World War III, man. So these things are still going on in the East. We'll see what play out. And I mind you still got those protests happening in America. And look, the more Israel do, if you've been noticing, the more these protests been ramping up in different colleges in different states, man. But you got some other ties of power for this?
Yeah, I read this. I bring this out right quick. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 6, and I start at verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. All right, Jacob is in representation of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans predominantly today. But we know that Israel is scattered throughout the 4 corners of the globe. All right. Looking like all nations under the sun, but so you can know and understand, the Israelites today are predominantly the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, so-called. Now, Esau is the so-called white man, the sombrero poquitos that started shit in Ukraine, and they started this shit in Gaza, which is now leading into an offensive down in South Israel in Rafah, all right, and they've already started bombing and sending in tanks. So it says again, 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 8, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right. So Jacob's hand holding Esau's heel, representing, us bringing this man down. And that's what you seeing in these last days with the brothers that's out on the highways and byways prophesying. What you see is the end of an era, the end of a kingdom. All right. And it's going down by way of the Holy Spirit, by the mouth of the prophets, the men that's teaching the truth the right way. All right. And Esau's plans are being upset. And this is why you're going to see more and more censorship. This is why they cracking down on these protests against what the small hats are doing over in Israel. All right. They're not going to stop. So that means that the censorship is going to ramp up. All right. Yeah, where this is going, it ain't no turning around or reversing it. All things are going the way that Esau wants them to go. And that's talking about these endless wars. Anybody with common sense would know Ukraine don't have a chance in hell against Russia. But why are they pushing for it? It's a perfect depop tool. That's a depop tool. Same thing that's going down in Israel. This is what you're witnessing is what they would term reconstruction. All right. That's what's taking place in Ukraine, which is being reconstructed on behalf of Russia. But we see in Gaza throughout Israel, like the brother mentioned, that they're being, the genocide, that Geno word, that's taking place because they want to restructure Israel. All right. We see America is being restructured through what? This influx of immigrants. They are restructuring America. So it's just a worldwide restructuring going on because we're coming to a different time. But you have to understand and keep in mind that Esau is the end of the world. All right? He's not going to succeed. So that's what that means. That's hope for us. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. That's us. We coming up next. And that also what the hand on the hill symbolizes, like, hold up, you ain't going nowhere. All right. So yeah, we can get into that news. I
kind of got a quick one. This Proverbs 21 real quick in verse 1. It's the New King James Version. It says, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh, and the kings are who? These different leaders of these certain countries. And what's their heart? The mind. So it says, the king's heart or mind is in the hand of Yahweh, like the rivers of water. He turns it wherever he wishes. And what the Lord put in the rulers of these countries' mind is to what? To go to war. To go to war. I think it says something like that in 2nd Ezra 16. Let me see. I think it how the Lord say he calling the nations. Well, look, it's a build up to that. I think
and remember, like I brought up last week, it's really the kings of the earth, that have lived deliciously with America that's pushing the war. Putin ain't pushing for war. It's NATO, then the EU, and those kings that live deliciously off of this whore, Babylon, they're pushing this war. The people don't want the war because the people are the ones that's dying. People are the ones that's losing husbands, sons, brothers, cousins, uncles, whatnot. And behind what? They know they ain't getting nothing out of it. It's different when you talk about, I'm going to go fight for my country because it is your country, because you get some benefit, you want to preserve your way of life, your sovereignties, your liberties in your country, then you go and fight. You got something to fight for. The people don't have shit to fight for, especially here in America. So yeah, the people don't want the war. It's these kings of the earth that have lived deliciously with her that want these wars. Yeah, you got Macron over in France talking big shit. They don't want that smoke, bro. I promise you they don't want that smoke. But they know that NATO and America will back them up. So they over there popping big shit. Well, it ain't they, it's Macron. So yeah, it's a divide there. So you got it out.
kind of real quick. This 2nd Ezra 15 and verse. Now that's cool. I'll move on. Let's hit this news real quick. It was just going into the law calling these nations, but So that's that's the news with World War III. That portion of that, they still doing their thing, and mainly the beast gonna force these nations to retaliate, man.
The beast. That's it. The
Mhm.
beast. Come on, you got it.
Come a while back, Putin even said that he quoted, and it's funny because a lot of these leaders they say stuff not even knowing they quoting the Bible. For example, when Russia them said they can destroy America within an hour, but Putin said a while back that he's fighting against NATO and Europe. I mean, yeah, NATO and Europe. No, the Western Europe is. I'm fighting against the beast. Russia is fighting against the beast. So a lot of these things that's going on is directly in the scriptures, and these leaders and people in the world don't even know they're helping fulfill prophecy, man. But moving on, this from Natural News. Now, this came out yesterday. Speaking of Putin, it says BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, which you just had more. Let me see.
Right. Egypt, Ethiopia, shit. Who else? But that's even prophetic because it's prophesied in Ezekiel 38 for Gog in the land of Magog to be a guard unto Libya, Ethiopia, matter of fact, who else?
I'll read it for you. I got it right here.
Iran, Persia first and foremost, but Ethiopia's in there. Ethiopia joined BRICS at that last, whatever you would call it, when they had them last inductees come in. But go ahead,
Count is Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE, United Arab Emirates.
That's right. That's right. Iran. Yeah, and then of course Saudi Arabia and the Arab Emirates. Khan. Because that was huge when that happened because that dealt the death blow to the dollar with Saudi Arabia and the Arab Emirates.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And yeah, hey, it's about to go down, but go ahead,
Khan. Because that dollar was in a way tied to, that's where you get the petrodollar, tied to all that oil. Now they saying, look, we ain't doing it no more.
Khan, brother, that put the death blow on the petrodollar. Right. You got it.
Khan. So you wanted that Ezekiel 38 or you want to continue?
Oh, that's on you,
Khan, we can get it. So this Ezekiel, you can speak on it too, Zaquan. I'll read it for you. This Ezekiel 38 and verse 1, it says, and the word of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of...
Right, it's talking about Russia. All right? You don't have to make it complicated. Gog in the land of Magog is Russia. Go ahead.
It says, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal prophesy against him, and say, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn...
Why the Lord against them? Ain't they doing a good thing in the earth? They fighting for freedom, or for at least for their way of life. They ain't fucking with nobody. They just want to protect the homeland, the home front, Mother Russia. They just protecting Mother Russia. Yeah, but at the same time, those are Edomites. So they got to go too. They got to go right along with everybody else. Most High using Esau to destroy Esau. Mm-hmm. But go ahead,
It says, verse 4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws.
Right, and all the Lord is saying right there, because Russia had struck up treaties and deals, all right, to bust up the Soviet Union. And when the Lord's saying he's gonna put hooks in their jaws, meaning he's gonna turn them back to that. Basically, the Soviet Union will be rebuilt and reformed. And not only that, he's gonna put that spirit in them to come against. That's the answer to NATO. And that's why NATO was formed to basically kind of counterbalance, if you will, the Soviet Union. So when the Soviet Union was broke up, I forget what year that was. I want to say in the 80s under Reagan. But when the Soviet Union broke up, NATO should have been dissolved. 91. Okay. Okay. Well, right, but NATO was never dissolved. So now, so that we can have this showdown, the Most High is going to have to put hooks, all right, into Gog and Magog, Russia's jaws, and turn them back, put them in that old, that bear spirit, put that bear back in them, all right, and that's why what went down had to go down in Ukraine. Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union, all right, and Putin said, all right, we good. The deal was they wouldn't advance beyond, I want to say Poland, that NATO wouldn't bring troops past Poland, but they've been, of course, in true Edomite fashion, they've been reneging. That's what Esau do. He's a renegger. that's Esau. He's a renegger. All right. So when they started pushing this Ukraine shit, Putin knowing, because that's his people, he knowing their nature, he was like, no, we got to stop this right here. That's enough of that shit. And so here we are, and Russia is all but then reclaim Ukraine. They're not going to tell you that in the lamestream media, but Ukraine the army of Ukraine is getting decimated, and they not bothering as much as possible. The Russian army, they're not bothering the civilians. Most of the infrastructure is intact. They're not just going in wild like Israel. They hitting them with surgical attacks, surgical strikes, taking them out because they don't want to destroy that land. They know that's good farmland right there. Some of the best in the world. Ukraine is known as the world's breadbasket. So they don't want to tear that up or destroy it. And that's a part of the Most High putting them hooks in their jaws. Russia will have Ukraine. I'm thinking, by the time this third war kick off, or even before. But yeah, brother.
He gonna speak on that too a little bit in this vid. Old dude, right here, forget his name, still in my mind, but what I was about to play. Oh yeah, you said 88. Yeah, it says Estonia was the first Soviet republic to declare state sovereignty in a union on November 16, 98. And you said Reagan. I looked it up and said Reagan.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, Khan, that makes sense. Yep.
So yeah. So I finished off that Ezekiel 38. We get back to it. Ezekiel 38:4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords.
That's Russia, brother. They play. That's a great company. You was gonna say something? Go ahead.
Now, I screenshotted a picture the other day. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. But now you got it, Zaquan. I screenshotted the picture the other day. It was
Yeah, I was just gonna say they probably the baddest military on the planet right now.
Let me see. Now I thought I had a picture of Putin. It was Putin standing in front. Here it is. I screenshotted it. Check them out. Look, that's this precept right here. Check it out. Hold on, let's read it again.
Yeah.
Let me delete this. Hold on. Take that down. All right, now I read it. Let's see. Now, come on. All right, I just do this. Make it bigger. I'm gonna read it from my scripture. So this is Ezekiel 38. Let me show the picture again. Where is it? There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is. Ezekiel 38, right? Ezekiel 38 and verse 4. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shields and helmets. You got it?
Yeah, no, and you just read in that, well, when you pulled up the newest inductees, and it was Egypt, Ethiopia, which was on there. It said Iran. All right. So when you read Persia, that's Iran.
Mm-hmm.
The name was changed from Persia to Iran in 1935. You see? So, right now they part of BRICS now. So they under that umbrella. BRICS is just as much a military bloc as it is, financial conglomeration. They are the answer to NATO.
Mm-hmm.
So you swing on one, you got to swing on them all because they are tied financially. So in other words, you fucking with Iran, then you fucking with Russia's money. You fucking with China's money. They doing business out there. Man, Russia is all up in Africa now. And the French don't like it. That's why they talking about going into Ukraine. Because for years, for decades, the French was eating off of ham. I mean, well, ham wasn't even eating off of their own natural resources, because France was out there, pretty much just deboing all of their shit. And in the different countries throughout Africa, so now Russia coming in there, man, the Edomites don't like that. Or the NATO Edomites, the EU Edomites, the Western Edomites, they don't like the fact that Putin is up in Russia and showing them love. Putin out there showing them Hamites love, man.
Hey, that's Salaki Zaquan. I don't mean to cut you off. Look, I was just running through RT, and as you were saying that, look at this article that popped up, came out today. Check that out.
Come on, brother, come on. Read that title.
This RT News put out today, May 9th. It says, Putin's re-election is good for Africa.
Good for Africa. Look at that. Con. Hey, shalom to the brother, the elder, Hawaii.
Con.
Yeah, North Kakalaka in the house.
Yeah, that was a spirit. He put that Proverbs 21. I ain't even see it. So hey, I'll read it again. Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. You got it, though.
Brother. Oh, man, that was it. That was it.
Okay. I read verse 620, Ezekiel 38, because it says Gomer, and I believe that's Turkey. And you've been having Turkey come out, and they ain't agreeing with nothing America doing.
They don't, They like they like the black sheep of NATO.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You got it out.
That's it. So if it say Gomer right here in the scriptures go join unto Russia, guess what? What we see in Turkey, how they not agreeing with nothing America doing, nothing Israel doing, it's clear to see they're going to separate themselves. And you think they're going to be the only one? In Obadiah, it told Esau that his allies was going to secretly be plotting against him while promising him peace. So who else in the talks with Russia? But it says Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togomor and the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. Look, one more time. And many people with thee.
Man, nothing but niggas. Them Hamite niggas. There might be some Jake in there though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep, you
Come.
got it. Like they're like, one of those Turkish nations, But yeah,
Right.
so that's happening. That's happening. That's happening. So yeah, I read a little bit of this article. I ain't gonna read that much into it. Then I'm gonna play a little video because he was going into what's going on in Ukraine and how they're using that for an excuse because the it's about to crash. The financial system about to crash. But real quick, so this was put out yesterday. It says from Natural News, BRICS nations are now openly preparing for a global collapse of the dollar.
Mm. Yes, sir.
It says the BRICS group, in which BRICS again is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And we read they got new members: Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. And remember, it's many more countries who want to file a, entry next. Putin said you got countries lined up, but it says the BRICS group of countries are openly preparing for a potential global collapse of the dollar and talking about putting an alternative currency in place that could serve as a substitute. And what you think the currency is? Digital.
Yep.
It says this is according to proclamations by Russia's executive director from the International Monetary Fund, or the IMF, Alexei Mozhin. He said that the downfalls of the current financial system are growing more obvious and pointed out how BRICS could step up in such an event and provide a viable alternative. That's what the prophecies say. Many nations go join unto who? Russia. You see, and it ain't just Russia, but you also got China, who more so speaking up against America as well too. You were saying some earlier, Elder Times. I probably slept my mind on exactly what you were saying about China, but I've been saying stuff in on these news sites, how China is openly opposing America even more.
Mm.
So how much more these smaller countries, when things get even more hard, and look, America putting even more pressure on their allies, it's gonna be easy for everybody to jump ship, man, and go to what a more viable alternative. It says according to, you got something?
No, you good.
It says, according to Mozhin, BRICS member countries could develop a currency based on those of its members, including the Indian rupee, Chinese yuan, the Brazilian real, and the South African rand and the Russian ruble. Now I'm gonna jump down a little bit. Now check this out. Because will it be in like cash dollars or coins? It says there has been widespread support among BRICS nations and other countries, not just BRICS members, and other countries for moving away from the dollar in favor of national currency. And look, this is the thing. National currency, which means everybody got their own. Now,
Yep.
every country got away in what? A central bank. And as you know, the Lord been having brothers go into, each country's central bank will come out with their own form of currency, but it's all gonna be on one database. As they say, interoperability. Everything will be connected, although it's for each country currency, so to speak. But it says for national currencies, the bloc is also reportedly looking into digital currencies as a means of providing more merchant mechanisms for trade. That's gonna have to be the way to go, and especially because prophecies say so.
Con. I just did a video yesterday, and the guy was talking about how basically blockchain is going to be at the center of it all. Blockchain is the new ledger for all financial transactions worldwide. So that's going to be the new system of bookkeeping, is blockchain, which is utilized by cryptocurrencies, digital currencies. So yeah, that's coming, and they want that up and running by next year.
That made me think of Salak, you got it.
Ahead. No, go ahead.
Now, I was just about to say that made me think of what Yahweh Shai said in Revelation, the 3rd chapter, that our temptation go come upon all the world to try everybody in the world, which that link right up with Revelation 13. He gonna cause all to get down with this new system, and the only way you're gonna buy and sell and get by is if you got that mark. This is where it's leading to. Everybody gonna get forced in the way to get down with digital currency. What you got, as a Quan?
That's right. Con. No, that's right. Shit, I'm trying to remember what lesson I put on where they was talking about the AI taking over everything by the end of this year going into 2025. So AI will be running all of this shit. Maybe by the end of this year. So it'll be in charge of the blockchain. It'll be in charge of censorship. It's going to be running everything. I think I went into that Monday, and see right now, as the lady was explaining, right now they got humans in the loop in dealing with AI. You know, people are programming it and whatnot, but they want to let it have full autonomy by 2025. All right, not sometime in 2025, but by 2025, they want to give AI full autonomy over the governing of the affairs of the people of the world. So I'm sure they're going to want that blockchain ready to go by then. So that means everybody must have a digital ID, which you're getting ready to go into, and you know, your micro thing. But go ahead,
God, that micro thing. I read a little bit more of this. It says he stated the BRICS plus, right? Because they continue to add on the BRICS plus nations. Check this out. Do not need to wait until a shared currency meets the technical conditions, typically of global reserve currency, before they swing their newly enlarged economic wrecking ball at the dollar. What they're saying, they don't have to abide by the rules that's been set in place, the old way of doing things. Let's read it again. The BRICS nations do not need to wait until a shared currency meets the technical, just to hit that word technical, meaning what? Quick Google, relating to a particular subject, it says practical, technical. Now, the technical way of doing things is what? Abiding by what's written in the law. Remember, a lot of these nations, they can't just do what they want because they have certain laws put in place within, you know, what's one of them dealing with the missiles, mutually assured, what it is?
I don't know the term.
Yeah, I forget it. Dealing with, you know, weapons of mass destruction, how they got it to where, look, we ain't gonna shoot off these things until really got to, in other words, you know. But nevertheless, they don't have to follow the old rules of doing things, like you said earlier. All the nations know, even Esau, America, you don't keep no treaties, you break them. So why would we going into this new way of doing things worry about the old government that's been set into place? Everybody trying to see who's gonna be the new leader of this new digital world. Now I want to get a quick precept because that's in the scriptures. 2nd Ezra 15 real quick in the GNT. And we'll start at 14. It says, the world and the people in it are doomed. The war that will bring their destruction is very near. We were just talking about that, World War III. Check this out. It says, nations will arm themselves and fight against other nations. It's the point. There will be great political turmoil with one group trying to overpower another and gain control while what? While ignoring the legitimate government. So these nations go be fighting to see who gonna be the new leader. It says that's why they're gonna go to war. There will be great political turmoil with one group trying to overpower another and gain control while doing it. As they're trying to get power, what they go ignore while ignoring the legitimate government. Now, just real quick, legitimate. It says confirming to the law or to the rules. Ain't nobody care about the rules no more. Remember, Putin said that a while ago. America, we don't care about the sanctions y'all putting on us. We gonna still do what we do. I believe I forget who it was, tried to tell China stop accepting weapons from Russia. They laughed at the woman. I forget who it was, not Janet Yellen. It might have been her.
It
But
probably
they
was her.
laughed at her. It was her?
Yeah, that probably was
Mm-hmm.
more than likely.
Yeah, yep, because it says she tried to go to China. If it was her, but she tried to go to China and say, look, stop accepting Russia weapons. Man, they looked at that woman and laughed. We ain't got time for that. We ain't following America rules no more. We know, remember last week we talked about how the nation said we know America falling. Right. They don't care about the old way of doing things. They trying to be the leaders of this new world. Let's read this again and I'll continue with the article. It says there will be great political turmoil, 2nd Ezra 15 and 16 in the GNT, with one group trying to overpower another and gain control while ignoring the legitimate government. And that's what we're seeing right now, man. So let's go back to this. Let's read it again. He stated that the BRICS, you got something?
Hey, real quick, just on what you said. This is Joel chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. All right. And as the brother was just explaining, these nations ain't, answering to America no more because they was once the weak, but now they're saying, I'm strong. I don't have to listen to you. All right. They're not gonna be bullied or deboned by US foreign policy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so they're beating their plowshares and the swords, meaning they're preparing for war. And their pruning hooks and the spears, they've been doing that. This ain't just started, they've been doing that. And again, Russia has the most advanced missiles on planet Earth, hands down. And nobody got an answer for them hypersonic missiles.
That's right.
Nobody. Yeah. So the Lord said again, verse 9, proclaim ye this, and we're proclaiming it among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Right. And then the big push behind that is, hey, Psalms 2 said the best. Why do the heathen rage?
Right.
They all jockeying for position. Let me get that psalm and then you got it.
Bring it out.
Get that real quick. All right, Psalm 2. I'm gonna hit right at the point. And verse 1. All right, Psalm 2 and 1. Why do the heathen rage? And the people imagine a vain thing. All right, what are the heathen raging about? Right, the rulers of this new system, this new technological system that's coming in place. All right, they know the old guard got the pass, and the new guard is coming in, and they all jockeying for position. That's why I say, and the people imagine a vain thing. Right, because through the Spirit had me started off, 2nd Ezra 6 and 8. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right? So yeah, it's vain for them to think that they're gonna have some type of rulership in the, what the Lord is getting ready to put down here in the earth. But yeah, you got it out.
Kind of looking for it. I know we played about a year ago on the Thursday Live, but Biden has said, I think that's it. How Biden said that the U.S. got to be the leaders of the new world order. But anyway, that's that's it. The spirit of what we talking about, man. And you think America the only ones?
Right, and the people, the nations that imagine are raging, they sick of America. They don't. The last thing they want to see is, or to do is to be answering to U.S. and abiding by their policies. Going into the future. That's the last thing they want. But you got it out.
Yeah, I think he just talking. So it's whatever. But yeah, go try to find a video. We played about a year ago, but Biden said how America got to be the leader of the new world order. He said it. You think he the only one? No. But I'll finish a little bit of this. It says the BRICS states do not even necessarily need to have a shared trade currency to chip away at the king's dollars domain. So in other words, all the BRICS nations don't have to have the digital currency at the same time. It says if BRICS demanded that you pay each member in its own national currency in order to trade with any of them, the dollar's role in the world economy will go down. With BRICS members states now being more open about moving away from the dollar and trading in national currencies or developing their own currency, it's time to prepare for the reality that full de-dollarization may happen sooner than once believed. That's it. We're in them times. At the end of the show, speak. But I'll play this quick video. Now, this is Clayton Morrison or Morris from Redacted. This is a little personal page, Morris Invest. Now, this came out 2 days ago. It says everything changes for the US dollar in 7 days. Now, really, he didn't really say too much, but I'm going to just play a little bit of it just because I like the title.
In 1 week, everything could be changing for the US dollar. That is because the BRICS nations are coming together for their big event in Russia, and China will be there. And of course, the acceleration to the BRICS currency right now, which is, of course, based on commodities.
Oh, and they got this big meeting too, and the focus of this BRICS meeting will be, as we talked about, their new currency.
In 1 week, everything could be changing for the US dollar. That is because the BRICS nations are coming together for their big event in Russia, and China will be there. And of course, the acceleration to the BRICS currency right now, which is, of course, based on commodities, based on gold, is accelerating at a pace that the United States has dramatically underappreciated. And they are left right now going to be holding the bag. That's why Trump last week came out and actually talked about this and said, we cannot allow countries to move off the US dollar. That would be like a revolutionary war, he said. Yeah. And of course, the Biden administration is actively freaking out about this. Janet Yellen traveling to China, of course, last week. Anthony Blinken also going to China last week and trying to convince Xi Jinping to stop supporting Russia. I mean,
hey, that is, we were just talking about that. So it was Janet Yellen.
Yeah, I thought so.
Now they're freaking out. They literally didn't see this coming. We accelerated this mess because of our sanctions against Russia following the outbreak of war in Ukraine. We pushed Russia to war in Ukraine, and now we're left holding the bag. Yeah, if you need the history of this, of course, going back to 2014, we fomented a coup in Ukraine and pushed NATO right up to their doorstep, and then Russia invades, says we're not going to allow this to happen. We sanction them, actually hurts the United States more than anything. And they're like, oh, really? You're going to sanction us? You don't want to have to do business with us anymore? Fine. We're going to create our own currency, backed by gold, backed by precious metals, and you guys are going to be left holding the bag of the US dollar. We're done. And of course, now we're seeing this accelerate.
Hey, Zaquan, you know what's cold? That's how the Lord used that situation, of which it was other things, a build up to it, but mainly America putting them sanctions on Russia. That's was what was really the last straw, I guess. To make Russia say, okay, I'm gonna do my own thing now. And that's Ezekiel 38. And from that point, these other countries started gathering unto who? Unto Putin and Russia. That was the thing that started it. Once them sanctions was put on Russia, and remember that not just hurt, it didn't just hurt Russia, it hurt America, and it hurt America's allies. Look, not even including Nord Stream, the pipeline blow up, which that's how American allies in Europe get some of their natural gas from Russia. You see? But that's you got it.
Oh, no. You go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Now it's a question about to say, and you got it. But that was the last event really to kickstart that prophecy of Russia separating itself and doing its own thing. That's what he's going into. It was when America put them sanctions, and that was the last straw. You got to do, Zaquan.
Yeah. Oh, well, like he was saying, William Mount, he reported a while back that shit, Russia up, for money, like they don't have no debt right now. They say they got a surplus of billions, so them sanctions didn't do shit to Russia. Russia still, was getting that money. And I'm looking at articles saying that shit. certain countries in Europe is basically they still doing business with Russia,
Mm.
you know, and Russia really not having to spend any of their money, but certain countries in Europe is funding their campaign, and I believe Germany is one of them. But no, that was it.
Con. And if a brother can get that precept, Baba Kashar in the Obadiah 1, but in the NLT version, Obadiah 1 and verse, I think it's like 6 or 7, how it says all your allies who, they plot against you while promising peace. Because that's what we seeing. You know how many nations out there really probably talking to Putin behind closed doors, but America don't even know about it? That's in the prophecy, man. Baba Kashar, a brother can. But I finished playing this. It's a couple more minutes. We can move on.
Acceleration away from the US dollar across the board. So this week, or last week, I should say, last week we saw a number of African countries coming out and saying we want to get our gold out of the United States. We want to repatriate our gold, which I also find very interesting. Like, why is their gold stored in the United States anyway? That was news to me. But sure enough, South Africa, Ghana, Cameroon, Nigeria, and others trying to pull their gold out of the United States. So the gold holdings that we try to control in the United States, they're done. They want it out. They want to move it back to their home countries. This is a major move, guys, away from the U.S. dollar hegemony, control.
Yep. No, go ahead, right?
The entire money supply. So sure, we'll keep our gold in the United States because nothing really is going to happen. You guys control the seas with your Navy. You guys protect trade routes. You guys are the U.S. reserve dollar currency of the world. That's how the entire world operates until it stops operating that way. And now, of course, the pressure from Russia and China against these currencies and against them using the US dollar. I mean, heck, last week we saw Niger, the country of Niger. This is an unbelievable story, right? We see American troops who are not supposed to be there. They've been kicked out. And at this particular airbase, they were not supposed to be there. Russian forces show up and they go to the airbase. And lo and behold, guess who's there? American forces. Russians and Americans face to face in Niger. And the reason is because Niger called on Russia for security. They don't want the United States there anymore. They're tired of.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What?
Nah, you got it.
What you gonna say?
Hey, Russia, Niger, a Hamite country, called on Russia for security. That's
I'm thinking about.
Got it.
I'm thinking about. I know you know it. I want to say in Isaiah. Is it Isaiah 13? They should take up a taunting proverb.
Maybe Isaiah 14. Is it Isaiah 13? Let me see.
I'm not sure.
Habakkuk. All right, Khan. Yep, Habakkuk.
Okay.
I'll read it for you.
Got it. All right.
There's Habakkuk chapter 2, and I'll start at verse 4. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth.
All of that the brother talking about is what Clayton was talking about. Mm-hmm. Why everybody gold over here in America? Because he can't keep his ass at home. He went over there, got them people gold, or struck up a deal to have them keep their gold over here, Fort Knox, wherever. It was alleged that the Twin Towers going down with the biggest bank heist in the history of mankind. They had gold down in the up under the in the lower parts of the World Trade Centers that mysteriously came up missing. But right, to see he don't keep his ass at home. So he all around the world and everybody else's business. And once you do that, you run the risk of making everybody sick of your ass. And that's exactly what Esau has done. You know, he meddles too much. But yeah, but read that again real quick.
God, Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yeah, also because he transgresseth by one, he is a
The
proud
wine,
man.
the wine is his philosophies. All right. So in this case, it would be his foreign policy, and he transgresses in his foreign policy. But any of his doctrines, ideologies, and philosophies, he goes off. Whether it be how he run his finances, that's pure wickedness. His religion, or basically the religion that he gives the world, because he's into Satanism and whatnot. But even with this Catholicism, he's transgressing. He's just an all-around transgressor. All right. But go ahead, brother.
Yep. It says, hey, what the Lord told Cain, sin go lie at the door, be right there with him. Everywhere
Right.
you go, with the borders of wickedness, as Malachi said, but it says Habakkuk 2:5, yeah, also because he transgresseth by one, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as deaf, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
That's that
Verse
one
6.
word, that OWO. But go ahead.
Verse 6, it says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How
That's it.
long? And to him that laid up himself with thick clay. That's it.
Thick clay. And that's the woes. That's what's behind the woes of the world. That thick clay from the Hebrew abatyat, which means heavy depth. And they're trying to decouple and detach themselves, their country, their resources from this thick clay or this heavy depth. So they're getting away from the dollar, which is issued upon usury, and they're getting more resources in the form of gold, silver, and other things. Platinum, cobalt, coltan, what's that other one? The lithium and all of Russia, not Russia, but Africa is full of all of those minerals, you know? So, right, they're saying, man, get this cracker up out of here. You know, they taking up a taunting proverb, Yankee, go home. So, yeah, brother, you got it.
Con. I'll put this video in the chat because he said some good stuff up in there because he was going also into Ukraine, what that's really dealing with, how that's dealing on the financial side of things as well. Put that in the chat. Check it out. And I'm gonna put this one in the chat too. But we can move on. So this next portion, it says paroled immigrants. Come on, man. Paroled immigrants. Let me see. Paroled immigrants in U.S. cities. And I'll read that article here in a few. Well, right now. So this from Natural News, and this was put out 2 days ago on the 7th. It says, check out the top U.S. cities and towns where Biden is sending hundreds of thousands of paroled immigrants. Is yours on the list? See what parole mean. Parole. Quick Google. Release of a prisoner on parole. All right. Another time to see if you're going to get right. So what Biden doing, well, we'll read it. Between January and August of 2023, it says the United States, and now mind you, think about all the people that's even been coming here in the last couple days to weeks to months from Central and South America. Oh, recently Haiti in Florida, in certain parts of the South. You got Haiti, you got Central and South America. Also, you've been having Chinese people flying in, and also people from the East, as they will call it, Middle East over here flying in.
Yep.
America, and it's the perfect time to say we got all these people here. We need some way to keep everybody in track, make sure, the health care. Because look, what if the lights go out? That's the easy way to push that. And two,
Yeah.
Why we want to kind of even touch on this article? Remember last week we touched on this article. This was put out last month on the 30th. So look, a couple days ago, about 2 weeks ago, on National News, the United Nations. This is what their plan is, and who all under the United Nations? Really, somewhat, the whole world, but we talking about America mainly. Because once America get down with it, the world, they already will be in place. I remember you said this one time, Elder Tazapa, America will have to be the last one, because if America go first, then everything will just collapse. It's gonna have to work its way to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
But check this out. You slack, you got it.
Nuh-uh, you got it.
So this is what the United Nations are doing. Now remember, they be using these smaller countries as testing sites. Let's see how this is gonna work first before they roll it to the big dogs. So this is what they're doing. The United Nations are tracking and controlling refugees, cash and aid relief in Burkina Faso through digital IDs. Now we went into this article last week. So you got refugees out there. This a place in Africa. And they tracking them through a digital ID. Also link their health aid to the digital ID, and what else? And their cash to the digital ID. What this sound like? Now, I remember it's somewhere in this article how it said not just the people. And after this was going to take us back to this article. How it says, check out the top U.S. cities and towns where Biden is sending these paroled immigrants to. It says in this article how it's not just the refugees that's displaced, but also the neighborhoods that they going. You remember that, Tazapa? I forget where exactly it was, though.
What happened?
How I said it's not just going to be the people, but also the areas they're going to be in, going to be required to have this digital ID. Lord, I know it's in this article. Lord willing, I can find it.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Because that's the point to make for that other article. Not just the people, but the people around them. Man, Lord willing, I find it. I should have looked at it earlier.
But that was in that article you was reading.
I just read this real quick. We'll see if it take me into it. So it says, the Exposed also elaborated on a separate plan by the Office of the UN High Commissioner of Refugees about a digital ID strategy. A pamphlet about the strategy explained a legal identity for every individual is of utmost importance. However, a digital identity that gives access to the internet, mobile phones, and related services is equally becoming important. So linking everything together. Apostle Hall said it first. He the first person I heard that from. Not us, but the people being a part of the Internet of Things. That device connecting you to this new infrastructure they go try to put in.
Yep.
It says it added that to achieve this end. So in order to make that happen, the UNCHR will use biometrics. So something dealing with electronics in your body, biometrics and digital ID to track their cash. Sound like the MOTB, to track their cash and relief items, healthcare, and that this personal data will be stored on a centralized global UN database. Each country got they certain central banks, but it's going to be on one database. It says refugees and other forcibly displaced persons. Oh, sound like immigrants, as they will call them.
Yeah.
It says refugees and other paroled immigrants. It says refugees and other forcibly displaced persons will, for example, have relief accounts that show entitlements transparently and track cash and relief items that have been or will be made available to them, kind of like a UBI, universal basic income.
Yes.
It's somewhere in here. It says, let's see. All right, here it is. I think this is it. The UNHCR is collecting, managing, and storing biometrics and digital ID data of displaced persons See, so that's the immigrants, that's the refugees. So they're gonna have this system set up for them. Let's read it again. And who else? And then we're gonna go to the other article. The UNHCR is collecting, managing, and storing biometrics and digital ID data of displaced persons. It says, and with heavy emphasis on that and, because it means not just them, not just the refugees or immigrants. It says, and the communities that host them. We got to hit, that's a Selah right there. That's a Selah right there. Not just them, but the communities that host them. It says, you got something
they've been pushing, and Denver is the latest city to push it. I know New York, Eric Adams was pushing it. They was pushing that shit in Chicago. House an immigrant, you know. So now we see why. And now in Denver, as I just mentioned, they're offering benefits. So in other words, like they'll do something like if you take in the immigrant, we'll pay your rent or your mortgage. You don't have to worry about it. So they're offering incentives. I don't know if that's exactly the incentive that they're offering, but it was a female speaking on this, and I said, yeah, I can see that happening in this economy where inflation is running rampant. People just being like, you know, shit, to hell with it. I take in one of these. I can't keep up. So yeah, now you understand why. Yeah, you got it out.
Yep, to get them hooked right in the system. It says the UNHCR is collecting, managing, and storing biometrics and digital ID data of displaced persons and the communities that host them. And the WBG is increasing broadband connectivity to the same people. I read this last one because they got some, it's good. Displaced people who are most likely traumatized and own nothing. Remember Klaus Schwab, own nothing and be happy? Who own nothing except for what they were able to carry from their homes on their backs, are not prioritizing smartphones and broadband connectivity right. They ain't really worried about having a new iPhone. It says they need food, clean water, and shelter, but this is how they gonna get it, which it seems relies on them using a digital ID issued by the UN. Now, that brings us back to this article that was put out 2 days ago. Natural News. Check out the top U.S. cities and towns where Biden is sending hundreds of thousands of paroled immigrants. Is yours on the list? And remember, not just them who gonna have to get down, but it's the cities that host them. So it says between January and August of 2023, the United States Department of Homeland Security, or the DHS, sent more than 200,000 immigrants from a controversial parole program to 45.
Yeah, you got it. I'm thinking about Trump. He said they're not sending their best and their brightest. Right. They emptying their prisons. Yeah, but you got it out.
It says from a controversial parole program to 45 municipalities across the country. And here are the top 10. Let's see if whoever brothers and sisters are. Let's see if y'all in there. First one, Atlanta, Dallas,
Yeah.
Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Houston, Los Angeles, Miami,
Cali,
Orlando, New York, San Francisco, and Tampa. This is where they at. This is where they've been put at. Now, who knows where exactly? They probably all over these locations. Who knows? But the point is, we see what the United Nations got planned for refugees and what's been happening all over the world. People been displaced. Right now, you got in Gaza. They back against the wall in Rafah. So remember last week in America, they might have a plan to go get those Palestinian displaced people and bring them over here and shelter them in America.
I can
We
see
talked
it.
about that last week. You got it.
Yeah. No, I just say I can see it. Yeah, you had mentioned that. Con.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we played a video last week that the mainstream news said it. I forget which station, but we played that video. They said it.
Okay.
But guess what? All these immigrants they bringing in, this is an easy excuse to say we need to have identification on people, man. Just like remember when 9/11 happened, I was a child, but 9/11 happened and that was a big thing to have ID. You know, in school we had the IDs and you know, all that ramped up. Well, how much more now if the event come now instead of the Patriot Act, you know, more surveillance is going to go to digital. It's going to be digital, a digital change, man. Digital change. But let's go back to this. So that's the places. It says more than 80% of migrants ended up in Florida, with Miami receiving more than any other city at 91,821 of them. Man. And I'm gonna throw this in the chat too, because we ain't gonna read the whole thing. We're gonna move on. But it says reports indicate that the program was enacted in October 2022. So they've been doing it, allowing a limited number of migrants who had not entered the U.S. illegally to fly directly into the country and land in one of those 45 locations. It says all qualifying migrants had to already have a sponsor in the U.S. and they had to pass various vetting tests before being allowed entry. And that's what they say, right? But it says the program was initially announced specifically for fleeing Venezuelans, but was later expanded to include Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Cubans. Right. Yep. But it goes into a little more like DeSantis and all that, you know, Trump. You were about to say something, Quan?
No, that was it.
Con.
Well,
but again,
I add, you know, this classic Hegelian dialectic. Create a problem, wait for the desired reaction, and offer the premeditated solution. So yeah, bro.
Con. I'll put that in the chat and we could kind of wind it down. Because I was gonna kind of put his Chris Cuomo just hitting on the point. Look, there's more sicknesses coming. You know, it's more sicknesses and death that's about to come. And again, a lot of doctors been saying that those who took that juice, these new plagues that they say, the bird flu and the new diseases that they may hit the airways, they're gonna say it's a new thing, but again, that's just the people who was juiced up. That's that juice finally kicking in and taking effect on these people, man. Because now you have Chris Cuomo. Because remember, he was so all for pro drinking juice, but now he's switching up, talking about, look, I apologize because I drunk it. I'm sick. I'm through. Now he see. So how much everybody else? I'm gonna play a little bit. This was his energy at first.
All right, play the clip. It's 2 minutes. Go for it.
Everybody should know that about you, Byron Donald. You are not telling people to get vaccinated. You are not pushing it. You are not saying it's the right choice. You're saying you're not doing it and your family's not doing it, and you're leaving out of the equation that you can make other people sick, as if that doesn't matter. Okay?
Chris, did you not just hear my answer 30 seconds ago where I said if you want to be protected from these variants and the original strain, please go get vaccinated. I promote you to do that. I just told you live on your own show that if you want to get vaccinated in America, go do it. But if there are Americans like myself who choose not to, please don't berate me for doing that. That is a personal choice I have made. It's my own healthcare. No, I am allowed to do that. I'm entitled to do
Byron, you're absolutely right to do it. You have a right to do it. Two different statements. Okay. Do you have the right? Of course, nobody's debating that except you guys as a false choice. What I'm saying is it right to do it? Have you spoken to a doctor? You're supposed to be a leader. Have you talked to the CDC and the people who are in Florida at the Department of Health about whether or not they think you made a good choice? Because if your answer is just then, well, I don't care what they say. This is me. I'm an American. That is being dumb as a proxy for being bold. And I don't think it's
See, so that was his energy at first. He was all pro drinking juice. Now, this came out yesterday. National News. Former CNN anchor Chris Cuomo suddenly, and Apostle Hall did a lesson touched on this too, suddenly becomes an anti-juice drinker. It says speaks up about his juice injury for the first time. And I'm gonna put this in the chat because I got the video to it. Let's see. Watch the interview here. Let's watch the interview.
You know what? If you get a chance, I came across a headline said that the CDC is backing out of the WHO treaty. So it's something they backing away from this juice thing now. And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's because these turbo cancers, as they've been called, is about to start, running amok. I don't know, but I'm seeing a whole different, like you saying, bro. It's a whole different energy or spirit behind this juice now. Even they saying that it's okay to take ivermectin and hydrochloroquine. When they say, "Oh, this just like Cuomo," you dumb if you gonna take a horse or whatever it was, horse medicine. They just talk bad about people because you don't want no experimental shit in your mutating your DNA. But yeah, brother, it's a change in a shift in the tide with this shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's behind it, but yeah, you got it out.
Kind, look, I got this up, End Time Headlines, and also I just typed it on Google, withdrawal from the juice. And you got AstraZeneca, they pulling theirs off the market. It says AstraZeneca withdraws the CV juice worldwide after admitting it can cause rare blood clots. They taking it off. And a lot of people who was pro it, they pushing back. And we've been seeing the ones who ain't pushing back because they can't speak. They was pro it, and then a couple of weeks or months later, they unalive now. So that's proof too.
Man.
But
go ahead.
Now you was about to say something?
No, you good.
Kind of reason I kind of wanted to show this though, even this Chris Cuomo thing, because it ain't just him. He was so pro it. And look, you can watch the rest of this thing. He was for it, ready to fight for the juice. But now he's so hurt. Oh, he hurt. But the thing is, it ain't just him, though. If he got to finally come out and say it and swallow that pill because he was so with this thing, he ain't the only one. Because look, you got AstraZeneca and other people withdrawn from it. Doctors coming out speaking against it, say, look, my bad. I ain't mean to push this. Look, and Fauci. Even Fauci saying, yeah, the mask really ain't work. That shit, it ain't work. Come on, man.
All that. All that. Yeah, they backtracked on everything, But yeah, the damage is done now. In the words of Apostle Tahar, that horse has been left the gate. And you ain't putting him back in.
Now check this out. I just want to highlight this because again, this came out today. It said May 9th from shtfplan.com. Now check this out. It says it is being projected because what was one sickness or disease that CV, that juice, they said caused? This word right here, right? They said that word right there because you got to watch your words. This word from drinking that juice, you got this, or HIV or something like that. But it caused this mainly. Now check this out. All of a sudden, after being shown that drinking that juice caused this C word, all of a sudden, fresh off the presses, May 9th, 2024, it is being projected that new cases of cancer, right, in the United States will explode to a brand new record high this year. This year. They're expecting it. Why? Because their juice is about to kick in. Look, they're about to probably turn up frequencies in 5G to 6G. It's going to kick in. Blood clots, zombie disease, deer disease, all in the food. Who knows what this, look, election year, something got to happen. Something got to happen to change the course of society. Put a halt to the current world as it is now, man.
Man.
So expect I'm gonna get a precept. We ain't get a precept like you be saying in a minute. I'm gonna get one real quick because part of the end time prophecies is what? Pandemics, man. This second Ezra 15 in the GNT, I think it's 15 or 16. Second Ezra 16 in the GNT. I'm gonna get straight to the point. It says, verse 18, troubles will come, and many people will groan. Famine will come, and many will die. Wars will come, and the powers and the world powers will tremble. Disasters will come, and everyone will be terrified. This is Jacob's trouble. It says, what will people do when these disasters come? And these are some of them. Famine, right? But next, it says epidemics. Epidemics, let's look up that word. Epidemics. Epidemic, quick Google definition. It says a widespread occurrence of an infectious disease in a community at a particular time. A sudden, widespread occurrence of an undesirable phenomenon. Come on, just like CV. So again, that's end time prophecy. 2 Ezra 16 and 19 again in the GNT. These are some of the signs that's coming. Famine, epidemics, troubles, and suffering are sent to punish and correct people, man. So these things are definitely coming. And look, if they projecting cancer to shoot up, man, if they projecting this and all these AstraZeneca and the rest of them who created the Jews, if they withdrawn from it, these doctors and even Fauci saying, look, I'm Salakia. He ain't say Salakia, but they pulling back from it. You see, they're pulling back from it. And even Chris Cuomo, look, look how hard he was going.
I think it's a good message because remember, it's not just you protecting yourself.
Let me say this.
It's you protecting me and other people from you. That's why you get vaccinated, not just for yourself.
See, now he's saying a different tune. Let's
up, sent his heart racing, stinging pain in his eyes, mouth, groin. Those have gotten a little bit better, but he still has what they call tinnitus. That's a ringing.
It's a fact. They got a second dose.
Yeah, I ain't watched the video. I just read the article. See what Chris talking.
I'm gonna turned around, dismissed denied, and tried to.
Hey, he humbled down. Now he get it because why? He's sick now, and he ain't the only one, man.
Beating the drum of you need to have a 9/11 style commission to figure out what worked.
Hey, he even look older.
And what didn't, and what question.
He look drained, man. But you know that's it, Elder Tazapah. You know you got. I'm gonna throw the rest in the chat, but that's it.
Yeah, man, I ain't had nothing. No, man. I will say this about them cancers and how you know it's not a natural. It's just not a natural occurrence with these new cancers because some of them they just spring up as a class 4 stage 4. They'll just come up, come in aggressive. They say that's why they term them turbo cancers. They say these cancers are aggressive. And it's because they're not following any natural progression. That's from your DNA being tampered with. Among other things, man, the heavy metals or whatever, they lace them things. Oh, they goddamn, the serpent juice that came out. And see, they was all different. None of them. AstraZeneca was different from Johnson & Johnson. Was different from the who that big one? That other big one?
Pfizer.
Yep, that's it. They always slightly different in a way. Because I remember they first came out, they were saying they needed to be stored at sub-zero. And then all that changed. So yeah, it's no telling what these people got coursing through their veins right now. And with these heavy metals and 5G and 6G, they already beta tested the 6G platform. These are microwaves, literal microwaves. And we all know what happens. You leave a spoon, a fork, knife, metal, anything metal, aluminum foil in the microwave, you're gonna get a catastrophe. So as you said, they crank this 5G up and shit. We all got these heavy metals in our, just from the chemtrails.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, man, you people in trouble. We got Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai.
That's right.
You people in trouble. But yeah, brother. That brother had put that in that precept. Man, I want to read that precept. These shall hate the whore. Revelation 11.
Okay.
17. Yeah, Revelation 17. I was thinking about something else. Yeah, so yeah, warrior for Yahweh. Hey, the water brother for the precepts. Yeah, that was, in the first segment, the earlier segment. He posted Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, the 10 horns of the EU. It said, these shall hate the whore, right in line with the Obadiah, whatever we supposed to read. I was holding it, but I only got the King James. But this is going into it. All right. And the 10 horns, which is America's allies in the West, in Europe, which thou sawest upon the beast, which is NATO and the EU, these shall hate the whore. That's America. Babylon, this virgin daughter of Babylon. All right. So they're going to hate her. It said, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So, right, the part where she's being made desolate and naked, that's through the exposing. All right. It's going to be an exposing before this place is taken out. That's how it's always been done. Most High going to expose you and reveal you for your wickedness, and then he takes you out. And ultimately, America will be burnt thoroughly with thermonuclear fire, coast to coast. So yeah, brother, you want to read that?
Khan, it's Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 7 in the NLT. All your allies will turn against you. They will help to chase you from your land. They will promise you peace while plotting to deceive and destroy you. Your trusted friends will set traps for you and you won't even know about it.
Bro, just like you see on them gangster movies. They send your friend to whack you. So shit, y'all go out, have dinner and drinks and everything. Then you get, you on your way home, think you heading home, they pull over somewhere and dust your ass off. That's kind of what these nations are doing. They going along right now to get along, but they looking to whack this hoe. So yeah, that was all I had.
Kanye, you can take us out. I ain't got nothing else.
They had nothing else in the chat, pretty much.
Kanye, that was pretty good shit. Or the brother, Barry Howard Shai, he said they were putting immigrants in our communities in Boston, housing them in community centers.
Man, Boston is horrible. Philly is a goddamn, it ain't no words for Philly, but man, everybody, it's rough out here, bro. The Esau is, it's got to be done, But yeah, these them immigrants, man, they say the moped gangs taking over New York. That's a lot of them immigrants. So again, Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. Yeah, them blue states, they the worst, you know. But yeah, I digress. If you ain't had nothing, man, hey, we gonna close it right there. And we pray that you brothers and sisters were edified, you know. And we're gonna give all thanks, praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh, the honors to the elders and apostles, and you know, and their teachers, who without them we wouldn't have this knowledge, you know. So double honors and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. To the next one, Shalom.
Shalom. The water for tuning in. Shalom. Y'all by Shemel Shabrak Thumb.